Good evening, everyone, and welcome to webinar 3.4.
Good evening.
Okay,
Good
thank you.
evening.
Thank you. Welcome to webinar 3.4. And this is 4:30. The webinar will be starting now. So we'll be starting with the opening remark, which will be done by the co-convener, Scholar Faidat Komorudin. Scholar Faidat Komorudin, please kindly go ahead with the opening remark.
Thank you, the anchor. Good evening, scholars. You are welcome to webinar 3.4 of the University Scholars Forum, cohort 3.0. As we all know, the topic of today's discussion, which is mastering the art of CV crafting. So I urge all scholars to please listen attentively. You should remain muted, like you should mute your mic unless you are asked to unmute it to avoid any form of disturbances. And let all members off their videos, except for the executive members. So to avoid any form of distractions. So I hope we should also jot down. We should take our jotters and pen because we'll be gaining a lot. Because we are having two facilitators for today, and the first person, scholar Rose Amuzie, will be taking us through the rudiments of crafting a work CV. Like we've seen our profile being shared across our platforms. So while the other speaker, Dr. Yahaya Yabo, will be taking us through our academic CV. So that means we are learning two things in one time. So I urge us all to avoid any form of distractions and please take 100%, put 100% concentration. So we look forward to hearing from our facilitators. I don't know if they are here yet. I hear they are welcome. Thank you for your time. Thank you, facilitators. So you can go ahead. Over to you, Anchor.
Okay, thank you for the welcome opening. Thank you for the amazing opening remark, co-convener ma'am. My name is Yahaya Yabo, Social Media Officer 2 of University Scholars Forum, and I'll be moderating this session. After the opening remark, this month and last month has not been easy for the forum as we recently lost our patron, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation, late Prof. Yusuf Saidu. And in his memory, we'll be paying a tribute to him, which will be done by the past conveners and co-conveners of the forum. I'll be calling on the past conveners and co-conveners of the forum to pay a tribute for him, starting from the immediate past convener in the person of Scholar Abdulgani Abdurrahman. Scholar Abdulgani, sir, if he's not on call, I would like to call on Scholar Mohammed Abdulkadir. Scholar Mohammed Abdulkadir. Scholar Abdulgani Abdurrahman. Okay, I would like to call on the pioneer co-convener in the person of Scholar Sulaiman Abdulhafiz Olawale. Scholar Abdulhafiz Olawale, please, are you on this call? Scholar Mohammed
Hello,
Adeyemi.
Uncle.
Yes?
Scholar Begani is on call. Scholar Begani is
Okay.
on call. Please can you call on him?
Okay, Scholar Abdulgani Abdurrahman, please. We'd like to call on the.
The last time when I was in school, right?
It seems he has a problem with his network. Please can you call on the next person? Thank you.
Okay, Scholar Mohammed Adeyemi, the pioneer convener of University Scholars Forum. Please, we'd like to hear from you if you're on this call. Scholar Mohammed Adeyemi. Scholar Abdulgani, please kindly confirm your presence.
Hello.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm in a regimented area, and you might seem to be hearing some background noises from my end. I'm very sorry, and I take charge of that. Um, Good evening to you all, and I hope you are all doing fine in all your respective places. So, as mentioned, my name is Abdulgani Abdulrahman Akadi, and I'm the immediate past convener of the University Scholars Forum. As said by the moderator, the last month has not been has not been a joyous month for us. We have not been in the state of our mind uh, due to the loss of the patron of the forum, the person of late Professor Yusuf Saidu, and the news, or let me say his demise, was very devastating to every one of us. Up to the moment, we are yet to come into terms. Um, but as Muslims, as believers, we tend to submit to the will of Allah, and we take confidence in some of the legacies. I mean, good legacies Professor Yusuf Saidu left behind. And personally, I had a long conversation with him about 10 minutes the day he died, even maybe about 20 minutes before he died. And so it revolved around the USF, personal development, and the growth of the university generally. So I'm using this medium to condole all those who are bereaved, including myself, the University Scholars Home, the university management, especially the Vice Chancellor, because I'm always thinking how the Vice Chancellor is going to cope with an important personality in his life, because I'm very sure his delegated authority, even when he's in the university. So I condole members of his family and everyone bereaved by his death. Thank you.
Thank you, Scholar Abdurrahman. We appreciate your presence and we pray Allah forgive him and grant him the highest place in Jannah. Moving on, the forum recently entered a partnership with Leap Africa in support of Makoto Foundation, Ford Foundation, and Nigeria Youth Future Fund to champion the Empowered program. And we recently update the list of the 100 selected scholars for this program. So the program is actually a 12-week long program to empower 100 selected scholars from University Scholars Forum, and we would like to call on the immediate past co-convener to brief us on the Empowered program. Scholar Mohammed Abdulkadir. So I forget to recognize the presence of our first speaker, Scholar Rose Amuzie. Good evening, ma. We we appreciate you for joining us earlier, and we look forward to an amazing session with you. So, Scholar Muhammad
Good
Abdulkadir.
evening.
Good evening, ma. Thank you, ma. Scholar Ma.
The moderator, please, can you please pay attention to the past conveners and co-conveners in the house? We have our leader in the house, please.
Okay, we'd like to call on Scholar Mohammed Adeyemi to pay his tribute to the patron. Scholar Mohammed Adeyemi, can you go ahead, sir?
Thank you so much, and a warm good evening to each and everyone. This is very hectic for me. I do not plan to do this anytime in my life right now. But be that as it may, we have to pay honor to those whom it is due to. And I must categorically state that the University Scholars Forum got its inspiration and greatest support by the support of the late Professor Yusuf Saidu. We masterminded and did everything together. I mean, when I said absolutely everything together in the Usman Danfodio University Sokoto, our bedrock was Professor Yusuf Saidu. And I think in recent time, I have lost so many persons that were very dear to me, but I think that in the last 1 year, the death of my mom has been very, very painful. And I think the other one that comes very close to it is that of Professor Yusuf Saidu. We maintained a father-son relationship. We maintained a mentee-mentor relationship. We enjoyed the greatest support that one could ever ask for. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed those benevolence from the magnanimity, the humility, the humbleness, the kindness, and the generosity of Professor Yusuf Saidu. He was a mentor, he was a distinguished scholar, he was an accomplished leader, he is a veteran university administrator. He was the very best of us. And I must say that Professor Yusuf Saidu's demise is a great loss to our country. And I see the occasion that happened as our best was by our worst. And this type of unfortunate situation, we pray that it never reoccur in any part of our history again. Never should we have a day in our country that we would wake up and looking at the bloods of our very best being spilled, on our faces, and we have nothing to do. No one is yet to be accounted for this gross, act of, I don't know, this barbaric, this heinous act of irresponsibility, of social disorder. I am not here to complain. I am here to give thanks to a life well distinguished, distinguished lived by Professor Yusuf Sahidu. He lived his life hurriedly, in my opinion, because it was as if he knew he was going to die. He was doing everything very fast, everything very fast, everything very fast. He walked on the surface of the earth as if the soil or the ground was speaking to him that, oh, Yusuf Sahidu, you are coming inside me right now. He lived a very impressive life of integrity, of commitment to personal growth, and of excellence. Professor Yusuf Saidu is a real gem. And I pray that God repose his soul, and be with his family and loved ones. Condolences to all of us. I mean, we do not take this very lightly, but I have something to say that by the special grace of God, we are not full of ungratefulness. We are not ingrate, and by this unfortunate incident that have happened, we will ensure that we immortalize the memory of Professor Yusuf Saidu, God's willing. We will do this in his presence, and we will also do it in his absence by the special grace of God. We thank each and everyone, and I also want to use this opportunity to also call the attention of young scholars in the university.
For joining late, please. Some are occupied. Once again, good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here again. In the spirit of paying last tribute to our mentor, in the person of Professor Yusuf Saidu, that we lost some days ago, it is quite unfortunate that this kind of thing is still keeping happening in our. Hello, can you confirm my. Hello?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry, please. Uh, there's nothing I can say actually I can do justice to what Prof has done for us as a university scholar forum and university at large. We have benefited a lot from him, and then in fact, after his demise, we read a lot of things, both online and offline, and we can all agree that Prof live a kind of life that we all pray to live. So while we continue benefiting from what he has done, his work, his advice that he has given us, there's not much way we can really benefit him again. And one of the best ways is to keep praying for him. Sure, you increase your knowledge not only by being vocal, but a lot of things that can help your career. Please and please. I don't have much to say again because there's no time. It is nice having me here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Scholar Sahom. Scholar Mohammed Abdulkadir, please can you confirm your presence? Okay. If not, we'll be moving on to the session. And the first the first session is Mastery the Art of Crafting CV, a step-by-step guide by Scholar Rose Amuzie. And a citation will be read by the Publicity Secretary, Scholar Rabilu Dayab Ahmad. Publicity Secretary, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma, for the opportunity. Good evening, everyone, again. It is my pleasure to introduce you our first speaker for today's webinar session, Rose Amuzie. Rose is an accomplished professional with a diverse background spanning HR consulting, education, financial services, and social development. She holds a bachelor's degree in sociology from Covenant University, and is an associate member of the Startup Institute of People Management, CIPM. Currently, Ross works as a human capital consultant at one of the big four firms in Nigeria, where she provides human capital solutions, including talent acquisition, learning and development, and compensation and benefits to clients in various industries. As a speaker, Ross brings her expertise in human capital management, recruiting, and talent development to the forefront. We are honored to have a such scholar to share her insight with us today. Please join me in welcoming Rose Amuzie for today's webinar session. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can, ma'am.
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, we
Good
can.
evening.
We can hear you.
Okay. All
Wow.
right. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to turn on my camera. I think I'm having network issues. So just for everyone to see my face so that I can turn it off and then we can have a wonderful time. I hope today is to know how to um, craft a compelling CV so that they can apply to jobs. So okay, I think I can overhear conversations.
Tijani Abdul Fattah, please mute your mic.
All right. Thank you. So they just want to know how to write a compelling CV, how to, know the formatting, the style, so that they can be able to use it to apply for certain jobs. So I currently work with Deloitte at the moment as a human capital consultant. And I can tell you for a fact that I get to see CVs so many times that I've lost count at the moment. So it's just for me. So what I'm going to do is to share my tips, and whatever questions you have, we can take it off from there. So just to put in perspective, does anyone know like the average time it takes to create a CV? Let me see if I can. All right, so you can put in the chat box how many minutes does it take to, what's the time that it takes to create a CV based off of maybe your experience. So I'm sure this is, for some of us, this might be our first time. For some other people, it is definitely not our first time. So can I get maybe comments just to know how many minutes it has taken us for those that have written CVs just to write, just to put all of that information together. Okay, someone said 2 hours. Okay, so I just want to understand that it's only Abdul Rashid that's written a CV here. Okay, all right, that's fine. I'll go ahead to to continue. So for some people, right, it hours. For others, it takes about 8 hours. And for some other people, it also takes an hour, maybe two, right? But show that on an average, it takes a person 8 hours to create a CV. And then if you want to create, it takes no less than 2 hours, right? So for a first timer, maybe 8 hours can be the ideal. Like, what is the best color to use? What's the best font? What's the best font size to use, right? So all of this takes us too much time before we get to create, our first draft. How long does it take for a recruiter to review a CV? For me, I can say maybe less than 10 seconds because there are certain things I'm looking out for. Do you have maybe the required work experience I'm looking for? Do you have the right skills? Sometimes I don't even get to look through your CV. If I just notice that what I'm looking for is not mentioned on your CV, I just, move past and probably go to the next one. So they said, according to research, it takes the recruiter less than 7.5 seconds. And that is why for you to be able to grab your recruiter's attention, your CV needs to be simple, having clear section, and maybe your heading titles, right? And please, just a confirmation. I hope everyone can still hear me.
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
ma, we can now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Right. Thank you. Just the network issues, just confirming. Thank you very much. So we are here today. Why are we here? We just want to know, step by step guide how to create a CV. So I'm just focusing on creating a CV if you want to, work in the professional space, right? So what do you need to put on paper? What are the basic things you need to know? The formatting and all of that, right? So we're saying, how do we put you? How do we put your personality? How do we put everything about your entire existence as it relates to work or to get a job on a piece of paper? What am I putting on a piece of paper that will make this person look at it and say, I want to invite this individual for an interview. I want to know more about this person. I want to go deep into their competencies and all of that. So that is why we are here today. So what is a CV? Sometimes we call it a curriculum. What does this mean? It can mention, it puts everything about you on a paper, right? You talk about your education, your skills, your relevant work experience, your competence, maybe your leadership, your volunteering experiences, everything about you. You're just putting it down on this paper, which we want to call what? A CV. It tells your story, right? It tells the recruiter or the person that wants to say, this person here, this person is good, number can do this, and I think even why you can get
Please, Scholar
about this
Tijani
person
Abdul
and
Fattah.
not just okay, and not just what you have on paper. So you're just making, so your CV is like making a first impression. So going now is like a dating platform, and you're putting everything about you on that site just to make somebody say, this person looks good, I think I want to have a conversation with this person. So that is what your CV is about. The CV you're going to create now is going to be the first of many. I know that when I started applying for jobs, I had like two mini CVs, from one draft to another, from one draft to another, just for me to say or tell the recruiter that I have what it takes aside my degree. It's like your first drafts might not be good. You keep writing, gaining more experience and all that comes later. we are going to talk about what do I need to put on my resume. Does my experience come before my skills? Education come before my profile? So these are just the key ingredients that needs to be on a CV. So if you put other things, quantify before on your CV. So we are going to talk about your contact information, your profile, your education, your skills, your interests, and then probably to sum it up,
Apologies,
your experience,
Mrs.
right?
Please, we can't see your screen.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, the
please try
network issue.
and reshare again.
Apologies.
No.
Let me do that again. Let me stop sharing and okay. All right, let me try this again. Okay, it's not working. I don't know if this is um oh my goodness. So this share button isn't working. Please give me a minute, let me join in again.
All right.
Okay, ma.
Is that fine?
Yes, ma. No
Very
Thank
problem.
you. Let
fine.
me just
Please, I think that it's very important that scholars are aware that do not play with the share option for you to share screen or for you to present, on your various phones. That is exclusively reserved for the facilitators and the executive board of the University Scholars Forum. On no account should you click on present now. And if anybody clicks on present now, the person should be removed outrightly from this webinar, the convener. Please, the person should be removed outrightly. You don't play with that, please. If you want to try it by testing it, do that or before the webinar, not during our webinar. So we anticipate the return of Madam Rose Amuzie to join the call. While doing that, yeah, let us just take a short break of 1 minute before she rejoins back. Thank you.
Hello, Scholar Fatima Ibrahim. Please, Scholar Fatima Sani Ibrahim, kindly mute yourself. Stop sharing your screen. Hello, Scholar Fatima.
Yes.
Kindly stop sharing your screen. Thank you.
I think what we will have happen now is because everybody that is here, I believe that they are not ordinary students. They are people that here that knows what they are doing, and there is need to ensure that there is discipline here. If anybody try to play with the present button from their hand right now, maybe even if you are trying to just mistakenly press on that present button, the convener, please remove that person from this webinar. I think just simple instruction like should be obeyed and should be respected. When you like, you can create a meeting of your own at your own end, at your own time, and do that at your own free will, right? So it's as simple as that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Scholar Rose, kindly confirm your presence, ma. Hello, Scholar Rose Amuzie. Please kindly confirm your presence, ma.
I think she is muted. Perhaps she is not aware. Yeah, she is muted. Okay, she is off again. Maybe trying to rejoin.
All right. Can anyone hear me now?
Yes,
Yes, we
clearly.
can, ma.
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you, man.
All right. So actually using my phone at the moment.
Why are you come, baby?
Okay, Scarlett, you can go ahead. Hello. Please, can you hear me? The anchor, please
Yes,
call
I
on
can.
Nicola to continue our presentation.
Scholar Rose Amuzie, please kindly confirm your presence and continue with the presentation, ma.
Yeah, she's contacting me now that she's his network is acting up and that she just changed her network. Maybe you can give I think the network is poor from her end.
Okay, and to those scholars who are switching on their video and making a presentation, please, scholar, I decided to block scholars who don't abide by the rules. So please ensure you abide by the rules. Thank you.
So please give acceptance to those that waiting. Maybe some of them that are waiting, but consider Scholar Rose joining.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Alright, welcome
Everyone
back,
here.
ma. Yes,
I
we can hear
my
you, ma.
apologies. My apologies.
No
I'm in a
problem, ma.
location where the network keeps, tripping. I am so sorry. Let me try and share my screen again.
Okay, ma.
Please confirm if you can see my screen now.
Okay, ma.
My apologies to everyone. I am so sorry. Um,
Accepted.
thank you, thank you. Okay. Um, what about now? Key parts of a CV.
Yes, we can see
Yes,
that.
we can see your screen, ma.
Yes, we can
Okay.
see your screen.
All right. Like I said earlier, if you're going to, if you're looking at a CV or if you're going to write one, these are some of the information that you need on your CV, right? Additional information, they are required, but these are the key ingredients. These are the key things that you need on your CV. And like I said, you need to have your contact information, your profile, your education, skills, interests, and activities, experience. Because all of this, tells a story. My name is Rose. I do this and do that. I have a degree from a school, in this program. I love this. I do this. I've done community service, and I probably have like one or two professional experiences that align with either the job I'm applying for, or maybe it speaks to something that I'm interested in, right? So whatever you're doing, this needs to be a key part of your CV, or whenever you want to, write your CV. So I'm going to go with contact information and education, right? For your contact information, you need to have your name, you need to have your address, you need to have your phone number, and then you need to have your email address. I know sometimes some of us, we had email addresses when, we were in secondary school and all of that. And then probably you have names like cute boy, fine girl, sexy diva 123 and all of that. If you're going into the professional setting, what I usually advise people is that just use your surname and your first name. If that is taken, you can just, maybe put your name underscore your surname, or maybe put like a number or two after it, because you don't want somebody to want to message you and then they're saying something very, very funny, right? So your email address needs to be as professional as possible. It doesn't have to be cute, just needs to be professional, right? So for your full name, for full name can be your first name, surname. But what I usually do and tell people is that let it be with what is in your government certificate, or what people should know you by, right? So if my name is Rose Amuzie, that is what is represented on my CV. Or if I want to do Rose Amuzie, let it be that, right? So you don't want to you don't want to put a name that doesn't reflect what an employer will not see when they decide to ask for your certificates, maybe your birth certificates, your degree, and any other online certifications that you have. For your address, this is one tip that is very important. Please do not put your full home address, right? Probably put something closer to your location. So for example, you live in Ajomi Felodu, Lagos, Nigeria, so you can either put Ajomi Felodu, Lagos, or Lagos, Nigeria, or Abuja, Nigeria, Kano, Nigeria, and all of that. You don't need to put your email address, because cyber security, cyber threats and all of that is real, and you don't want your information to be everywhere, and then people would now use that to probably tell you or something. So just to be clear, maybe your state and your country, or maybe the closest local government area to you, and or just your state and your country. Please confirm if you can still see my screen.
Yes, ma, we can still see your screen.
You can.
All right,
Yes,
thank you very much.
Yes, ma.
So for phone number, you need to put the one that is reachable. I've had situations where I like somebody's profile and I decided to reach them on their mobile phones, and you just get to find out that the number is switched off. Okay, can I reach out to you on WhatsApp? You discover that the phone number is not on WhatsApp. So always put an active email address, so that in case they can't call you, they can reach out to you on WhatsApp. And it's not every recruiter that may have that time to want to be looking for you on WhatsApp. So just put a phone number that is, easily accessible. So after your information, don't worry, I'm going to show everyone a sample of what's, at the end of the day, all of this put together. So after your contact information, you have your education, right? My university, my program, my grade. Do I have professional certifications? Did I get an award for some of the certifications? Um, for me, I'll always say that if you graduated with a second class upper and above, and then you're just coming into the job market, I always tell people to put it there. Like, it is very, very important, because you really, really worked hard for it. And sometimes it is a key factor for you to get shortlisted, right? always include it, even as going that far to include your CGPA. It is very, very critical, right? So it's like a class upper. So if your CGPA is not really something that you're proud of, you can just, omit that. But then for a fresh graduate going into the market, I think it's really, really important that you include that. So for professional certifications, most times students are proactive in taking some certifications like ICANN, CIPM, and other relevant certifications towards their degree or something that they are definitely going to practice in the field or in the industry, right? So if you have that, please endeavor to include that as well, because it also forms part of you, part of the story you're telling the recruiter. So you have your contact information and education, really, really, really important.
Sorry to
So the
interrupt
next
you, ma.
one,
Scholar
okay,
Rosema, please, your session ends in 8 minutes time. That's 5:30, ma.
okay, that's fine. Um, so you have your profile. So what you can call your profile on your CV can be a career objective or just something that summarizes everything that you are, right? So what I have here is what makes you unique, what makes you valuable, why should you get the job, a graduate of so and so with a first class degree in so and so looking to get a job somewhere, or you can probably just summarize talking about everything that you are, what makes you, so that the recruiter or whoever is looking at your CV can get a glimpse of what you are. So this is what this is about. Then you talk about your skills and interests. What skills do you have? Communication skills. Do you know how to use Microsoft Excel? Do you know how to analyze data? Have you done something in your community? Did you volunteer with a group of friends for an outreach? Are you part of a club? Are you were you like the ESCOs? Did you try to like introduce a new program to the club, maybe an organization you've worked with, doing like an internship or something? So these are things that you should also call out in your CV when you're writing as well. um, then we talk about your experience. Some of us might have experience. So work experience can be in the form of internship. That counts when you're putting that in your CV. Some of us must probably will help our parents in their offices. That also counts as an experience, because it's really, really important for recruiters to get to see what you've done outside your schoolwork, right? So you talk about the company. What job did you do? What were your responsibilities? What impact did you make? Did you get an award for that? And all. So sometimes when we're writing CVs, your responsibilities or your achievements on your CVs, you don't just, there are certain words you use, right? You need to use action verbs just to show that you were able to do something impactful, something that was worth it, right? For example, we have some action verbs on my screen that you can pick from when trying to describe some of the activities that you did either in the company that you worked with or in an organization. So this is a sample experience, right? It talks about the details. It uses number to demonstrate an impact, and then we also highlighted the person's impact and accomplishment, right? So you don't just give me responsibilities. Don't just write that you carried water from here to here, right? What were you doing, or what was the impact of the day that you made an impact while you were there? So we have like CV. There's certain type of CVs or CV format. We have the chronological, we have the functional, we have the a mix of both type. So your chronological is more like your recent, recent downwards. Your functional is just based off of your um the what's it called now, what is really, really important to the job. And then combination is you probably bring in some sort of the formatting up, maybe some of the formatting down. That's just basically what this CV type is all about. So as a young graduate, I will say that a combination CV type is the best, where you talk about your career objective, your education, do you have certain skills, and then talk about your work experience. Let your skills, interests, and activities be at the bottom of your CV, right? So what you need to know is that you have to start with the right format, right? Talk about your personal profile, your education, your work experience, your skills, and then if you have any other thing that is important, you can also include it. And please note that a CV shouldn't be more than a page if you're a fresh grad, 2 pages if you have, you've done some sort of work experience and all of that, but it shouldn't be more than 2 pages, right? It's only when you have like you're like in an executive position that way you can have like a 3 5 pages, but as a young graduate, someone still below 5 years of work experience, your CV should not be more than 2 pages. So you need to know the formatting rules. I'm sure we all use MS Word, for projects and all of that, maybe assignments. So in your CV, in writing your CV, you need to use clear fonts. So there are certain fonts for certain font type you need to use to be able to also bypass the ATS, which is an AI that helps to like a screening tool for recruiters as well to eliminate CVs that don't have the required words that you're looking for in CVs, right? So you also need to know the formatting type. You also need to have know your font size, your spacing, and I also look. There's some CVs that people get to put their pictures. If you're applying for a job, to be honest, it's not really like that relevant, right? And make your CV to be as brief as possible, and don't put in too much details that are just not necessary, either to the job that you're applying or just that's not necessary in general. So these are just where you can find CV templates, right? I'm going to share this slide with the team so that they can distribute to everybody who is in attendance. So here you go to your MS Word, you go to file, or you go to the search templates, you type CVs, you get to see different formats of CVs. So you just get to pick the one that is tailored to your needs, right? Um you There are certain sites you can go to, right? There's Canva, there's Resume Genius. This They already have format. All you just need to do is just input your details, and they'll just get you a nice and well looking CV that you can also send out when you're applying for jobs. So in putting all of this together, right, if in creating your CV, you need to look at the skills you need to look at the job you're aiming for. Are you taking the necessary course to ensure that if you can't be applying for a social media job and then you are taking courses in maybe NGO work, that maybe the industry is like an agri tech and all of that. So you need to call out what is relevant, right, when you're doing that on your CV. So this is just basically like a highlight of everything that we said today for you to be able to like put together a good CV, right? So here is you've gotten your CV. I think this is the last slide. Yes. So you've gotten your CV, right? So what's the next thing to do? You find a job. You look for something that interests you. You research about it, either about the company, either about the role, and then you try to tailor your CV towards that job that you're trying to apply for, right? Where do you put your CVs? Where do you apply? So there's different platforms you can apply for a job, but my most favorite is LinkedIn, where you get to see job ads like almost every minute, right? So you can go to job portals, you can go to LinkedIn, or sometimes you can apply directly to through the company that you're applying for. So yes, so this is just a sample of what a CV looks like for someone who is just starting out or someone with less than 5 years of work experience. So you talk about your career objective, you talk about your education, talk about your work or professional experience, talk about your core competencies, things you know that you're really, really good at or as it pertains to the job. And then you also call out some of your leadership and volunteer experience. And then if you have any other thing that you think is relevant, you can also add that as well. So I think I have come to the end of my presentation, and I want to say a big thank you for listening. In case there are questions or someone wants to make a contribution, I'll be willing to hear. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the amazing presentation, Scholar Rose. We appreciate your time, and I'm sure scholars have heard everything you've said, and they'll be dropping their questions. There is a session
Okay.
for question and answer, so scholars
All
will
right.
drop their
Thank you
question
very
ahead
much.
of that time. Thank you very much, ma'am. So moving on, we'll be calling on the second speaker, Dr. Yahaya Yabo, who will be speaking to us on crafting CV, an academic CV, and his citation will be recited by the organizing secretary, Scholar Umar Amorifaru. Please, Scholar Umar, kindly go ahead with the citation of Dr. Yahaya Yabo.
Good evening, respected scholars. My name is Amari Farouk Umar. I will be reading the citation of Dr. Yahaya Yabo. Dr. Yahaya Yabo is an early career cancer researcher based in the Department of Neurosurgery at the University Hospital Erlangen in Germany. He earned a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree from Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, and a master's degree in molecular biology from Vrije University, Brussels, where he graduated with distinction. His pursuit of excellence continued with a PhD in systems and molecular biomedicine from the University of Luxembourg, achieving the highest distinction of excellence for his doctoral thesis. In his current role, Dr. Yabo leverages cutting-edge techniques, including single-cell and spatial transcriptomics, alongside the application of artificial intelligence and multiomics data integration to dissect the complexities of the tumor microenvironment and resistant mechanisms to immunotherapy in brain tumors. His innovative approach integrates molecular biology techniques with computational methods to provide deeper insight into the complexities of brain cancers, with the potential to enhance patient outcomes. His work is recognized and supported by several prestigious awards, scholarships, and grants, including the VLIRUOS and the Mary Slodowska Quarry Actions Agent. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the thank you for reading the citations as scholar. Dr. Yahaya Yabo, kindly confirm your presence. Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, good
uh,
evening, sir.
good evening to you all. Can you
Welcome,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes, we can, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome.
Uh,
Kindly go ahead with your session, sir.
okay. Um,
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
yeah, so
We can hear
okay.
you, sir.
Sorry, I'm trying to share my screen. I think
Okay, sir.
I have some issues with my computer. Oh. Hmm. So I'm being blocked by my computer actually. Need to go to the settings and allow the sharing of the screen. Sorry, 1 minute. I have not encountered this problem before. Giving permission to share actually. Let me click. don't know why it's not showing. Yeah, so do you see my slides now?
No, sir. Okay, yes.
They come in,
We
right?
can see now.
Okay, great. Yeah. Can you still see now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you very much also for the kind citation. So my idea of this is a workshop, right? So it should be more of two-way interactions, not only like one way. Nonetheless, I will still give a few slides of presentation, but I expect more during the question and answer session. So please, some of the things I will say may be too high level, but just take note of those things, and then we can discuss these things in details. So the outline of my presentation will first look at the things we need to keep in mind before we draft a CV. And then, because regarding the academic perspective, we are more or less going to maybe apply for a master's program or PhD later somewhere outside Nigeria. So you will be faced with this the naming chronology, whether it's a CV or a resume. So we need to look at this, and then also I want to just highlight some important things regarding drafting a CV. Before you draft your CV, you need to think about where you are sending your CV to and what particular role you are applying to. So you have to get like this deep insight on this before you go ahead to draft your CV. And then we will also look at some key components, some of the important sections in an academic CV. If I receive a CV from someone that wants to work in our lab, and before I show this CV to the professor, I have to look at some of the key components. Does those components fit into what we are looking for as a lab, as a research group, as an academic institution? And then finally, I will give some tips that I think are very, very important, but often these tips are ignored. But overall, to be honest, I believe whatever I'm going to say, or what the other speaker is also going to say, will be readily available online. So I will try to, as much as possible, not dwell on the conventional way of writing a CV, which I believe you can always find online. You can find many templates available, but I will try to just stick a few important things that you need to reflect on when writing a CV. So first, you need to keep this in mind. Actually, a CV is not a static document. It's not like a certificate that you graduated with a first class from Usman Danfodio University, biological science, and that's it. It never changes forever. It's the same thing. But a CV is not like that. A CV is regularly update your CV. You need to add trying to apply for it. If you're applying for a master's program, you need to customize that CV to reflect many things that you're doing. Thousands of CVs, and you wouldn't want to send a boring CV to someone. Someone that, I mean, even the first speaker said she needs just like 10 seconds or thereabout to look at what she's looking for and then go to the next CV. So a CV, it's really an important document that you need to spend a lot of time reflecting over before you write. So it doesn't matter as the initial poll whether it takes you 2 hours to write, 5 hours, in my opinion, 10 hours, 20 hours. The reflection before writing the CV, to me, it's more important. You need to understand what you want, where you are sending your CV, and why you want that thing, and how you can convince people to accept you based on that CV. So you should have this in mind that you are competing with the world, so to say. If you send a CV, Nigeria has around 250 million people, so there are probably also around maybe 1,000 people that are interested in the same position in a particular university in Nigeria. But if you're sending it outside Nigeria, then the competition becomes even bigger. So you are applying with 1.3 billion people from China and from India, from Europe, from Asia and other countries, even from Africa. So you need to reflect on these things before you start writing your CV. And then in the end, the most important thing is try to keep your everything you want to do, especially your CV, simple and concise. So if we briefly have an overview of what CV and a resume is, to me, I think it's just a matter of English. Let's be honest. It's a matter of English. I think also the first point, which is the regional use of either CV or resume, it depends on where you are sending the CV. So predominantly in the US, they call it resume, US, Canada, and there are some countries also around the world that actually follow this American system. But if you are sending a CV, I think even in Nigeria and other UK colonized countries and European countries, they mostly call it CV. That's it. So don't be confused by this naming. I think it's not important as long as you understand where you are sending your CV to and what they want from you. So the other differences are regarding the length. In CV, it's more detailed and longer, and depending on your stage in career, you can have as many pages as possible. I've seen CVs with 20 pages, but this, of course, for highly accomplished researchers that have been there for many years. But a resume tends to be shorter, so it just gives a highlight of your achievement, which is mostly restricted to 1 to 2 pages. And then mostly CV is applied in terms of academic research and medical positions, while the resume is mainly restricted to the private sector. And again, this may not be 100% true. In the US, I think they use it even for academic, for non-academic, private sector, everywhere they call it a resume. But in Europe, also for both academic and non-academic, except if you have like an American-based company that is hiring in Europe, you will not see anyone calling a CV resume. And so the content also tends to differ. While the CV is mainly about your academic, educational, and research accomplishments, the resume talk about mostly experiences and skills. It also includes education, of course, but it's mainly focusing on what you have achieved, either through your education or through your work and other things. And I think the structure also has some few differences, but in the end, I think it's the same thing. It depends on just where you want to send it. Is it a US based or American system or the British system? So this brings us to actually the next point, where you have to think about where you are sending your CV. So it's quite interesting, because the first speaker made a point that it's not important to add your picture on the CV. Actually, I agree with her. This is really not important. But this was strange to me when I came to Germany. Actually, it's really very important in Germany to have your picture on a CV. It was really surprising. My CV never had any picture. But when I came to Germany, it's like almost mandatory. People want to see your face. So you have to think about where you are sending your CV. Am I applying to an institution or a company in Germany or in the US or UK? So this is very important. And this also is important that you have to do a basic research. I mean, thank God for the internet that you can go to any institution, look at what the institution is made up, the people there, what they do, and then what they are specifically asking for. If there is a job advert either on LinkedIn or anywhere, or even like a program, master's program, a PhD, you will see clearly what is expected of the applicants. So you need to have this in mind. It's really very important. So from this call for application, you will see the key features that you should tailor your CV into. You will see the skills required, and then you identify these areas that are of interest to the person advertising for the position, either master's or PhD position, and then you try to customize your CV to reflect these particular areas. So in some applications or call for applications, they normally give you a template or a guide on how you write a CV. And not only like for a job or a research position, but also in like MSc and PhD programs. In many institutions, if you go to their websites, they have this guide. Some even have like a template on how they want you to write your CV and send. Please don't overdo things. Use those templates. They are there for a reason, and that's very important. And then this also very important that you look at what you are applying for. You have to understand the descriptions. What are the skills? If you have skills in, for instance, nowadays we do both computational and laboratory work in most laboratories, but when we want to recruit people, sometimes we want someone with high skills in computation, high programming languages, everything, while sometimes we need people that have like research experience in wet lab. If you see an advert or a position or a program that give emphasis on people with computational skills, and you don't have these computational skills, don't apply for this position. It's better that if you really want to go into that direction, then you have to go back and try to get those skills first. If you have those skills, then you can apply for these positions later. So you have to always balance between what they are asking for and what skills you have. You first understand the role and then look at the relevant sections in your CV that will reflect to the roles and use specific keywords. Normally in an application you will see, or in a description of a program or a job, you will see certain keywords that are emphasized. Try to also use those keywords in your CV. Try to somehow customize. As I said earlier, a CV is not static, it's not something that's sacrosanct. You can always play around with it. The most important thing is someone to pick up your CV and see a reflection of what they want in your CV. To see the keywords, to see the results. I mean, to see the skills they want. So this is to see the educational background you have. This is the most important thing. And also quantification of actually your skills, your education, the roles you played is really very important. You find a way of actually quantifying your achievement. It makes the work easy for someone to do the CV. But if it's really very difficult, for instance, you said that you work in this laboratory, but then you don't really know what you have done in that laboratory or how it impacted that laboratory, then it's really very difficult to make a decision on actually to take you for the program or not. So always match your skills with the roles requirement in any job description or a program description. So if we look at the different, I had some noise. Do you still hear me, please?
Yes, sir. We can
Okay.
hear you.
Yeah, I had some background noise just to be sure. Okay. So now we look at the different components of the CV. Of course, education is very important, and you need to say the degree, you need to say the university, and of course the year is very important. And mostly you have a thesis at the end of your program, then you have to write the title of the thesis. But what is even more important is a short description of what you did in your thesis. This will tell us whether you have acquired some research skills from your education or not. So then the experiences, there is a section also on the experience. These are the important things for an academic CV. Just after your education background, then we want to see you. It's important also to put your contact information, of course, your email, probably a phone number, but other information I think are not really important. You don't need to put your age, you don't need to put your date of birth, you don't need to put your marital status, whether you're married, the number of children you have. These are all not important actually in academic CV. What is more important is just like the information, your name, email address. These two things are enough. And then you go directly to your education, you list your programs. In most cases, the primary school is not important, but for instance, but if you have some interesting information about your primary school, probably you had some award as the best student that you want to list later, then you can add the primary school, the secondary school, and then the university. That's it. And then you go directly to the section where you give your experiences. So in this research experiences, for instance, you did an internship in a laboratory and you have learned a few things. So what is important is to outline what you have done, and you need to report in such a way that show the impact you have made. For instance, you worked on how to develop an Excel sheet template on recording the experiments in a laboratory. Instead of saying this, you just say that you developed a template for recording experimental data or whatever in the laboratory. So this makes someone to think that you have been like really very useful to the lab, and then you have the ability to critically think and create things. So it's not just your experience. The CV also helps someone to because at the point of seeing the CV, normally there was no one-on-one discussion with you. So the CV will be what can be used to deduce your intellectual ability, your critical thinking, your analytical thinking, whatever you can think of. So this is the first step, and it's really done very fast. So you need to say clearly in simple terms, but in an impactful manner. Like you develop an analytical workflow for or a pipeline or an app. Some people in computational sciences already can develop an app at undergraduate level. So you need to say that you develop this app that tracks this or that do this. So it gives someone information that you have some experience in what you do. You did not just graduate, but you picked out something from it. And yeah, many people also design questionnaires. This is also an important skill that you need to highlight also. So then apart from the research experience, you can also have a subsection on professional experience where you can outline. Is someone trying to say something?
My apologies, she has been muted. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so then part of your experience also can be your professional experience. So this is a very, very important section. I think most of us from Nigeria are underutilizing this section, especially regarding internships, teaching practice, and whatever you do during your undergraduate program. You need to find a way of reporting this, and it's really, really very important. For I mean, a master's program and a PhD are mostly skill-based things. At the end of the day, even if you have a first class, you need to be able to translate that first class into something that is tangible in the laboratory, in the research. So that means you need to have an improved critical thinking, analytical thinking, and whatever you can think of. So internships are some of the things that are actually looked into. If I have a CV, I will quickly look at where have you done your internships and what have you achieved in those internships. So this you should keep in mind are also very important. And another thing that is nowadays really very important is your professional development and certifications you get. And these are mostly gotten online. So you can have access to so many skills online, especially regarding computation. You can, and then it's really also very important that you report this in your CV. You need to outline this, and these are actually used in decision-making process. I'll give you an example. People from India, if you see their CVs, it's full of these skills. They learn through different courses and certifications. And you will just see that these are all the things we need. They took extra time to go online to learn these things and acquire certifications for this. So in some cases, these online certifications are more important than even your university degree. So these are really very important. You try to have these skills and you try to also list them in your CV. So there are also technical skills, and these are what you do during your practical classes. Those in sciences usually have like hours where you go to the laboratory, physics lab, biology, biochemistry, whatever. So try to learn some skills that are basic and they are needed for your master's program or a PhD. And then you also try to report the skills in your CV. They are very important. Those in computation also learn also very important skills. Python, R, Java. You learn this and you try to actually report this. Even if you did not do this, I mean, there are a lot of online courses that will teach you SPSS, R, Python. There are a lot of them. So these are also very important. And then finally, for a graduate, research skills. I mean, we don't expect someone who wants to be in a master's program to already have a lot of research experience. But some basic things related to research, such as data analysis and literature review, are something that you should have some experience about, honestly. At the end of your undergraduate project, you do some statistical analysis, some basic things. You need to also visualize your data. Some people in computational sciences also do this stuff about machine learning. So this are also very important. And mostly also people do literature search, literature review, meta-analysis, medical sciences. These are important skills that should be the basic foundation needed for any master's or PhD program. In some countries, language skills are also very important. And I want to emphasize here that you don't just need to report that you have a certain skill in English language. You should also say you have skills in other languages. Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Nupe. It tells about your cognitive abilities. If you learn, I mean, if you're able to learn 5, 3, 4, 5, even if they're all Nigerian languages plus English, then that's really good. It tells people that you have very good cognitive skills. So also try to report your language skills based on international standardization. And then leadership skills. So leadership skills are also very important. These are skills people normally acquire from undergraduate, participating in associations and organizations. To be honest, they are not very relevant in academia, right? It's if you want to apply directly for a master's program or a PhD, I mean, the university or the professor who is going to take you is not particularly interested in you being the president of the Association of Veterinary Medical Students. It's not really important. But it's very important if you're applying for scholarships that are linked to national development, such as Commonwealth scholarships, this bilateral agreement scholarship, because these scholarships are not only looking at your academic abilities, they want to train. The idea behind this scholarship is to train a set of leaders that will go back to their own country and lead. So you need to have this leadership experience if you are interested in this. So that's why they give emphasis to this in their selection. But if it's just purely an academic job, leadership skills are not to some extent very useful. So also what is important is you need to have a section on your grants or awards or scholarships or whatever. I know, for instance, the conveners of this forum probably got some grant from or collaboration from Leap Africa, and you need to put this because the academic world grant is really very important. I mean, you need to always look for grants after one grant to another for you to continue your research. So once you have this experience of contacting funding organizations and making your pitch or your idea, and then they accept it and they grant you, it means you're already reliable, and this is really very important skill. So this should be in your CV as well. And then in the university, I know there are many other different scholarships, federal government scholarship, the federal, what they call the federal scholarship from the Federal Ministry of Education. You have the Shell Petroleum Nigeria University Scholarship, MTN, Total. There are many different scholarships, and these are also very important. It shows that you are able to compete with others and you are selected based on merit. That's why you should list this in your CV. And there are a lot of awards also that are important in your CV. For instance, I know, like in the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, they have what they call the Dean List, which are like the best students from each class every year. So if you appear in that list, it's really important. It shows your academic excellence. After graduation, you have all sorts of awards for the best graduation student in this and that. So this is really also very important. It also emphasizes that you have very good academic background, you are very strong academically, and then there are also these certificates that are of outstanding academic performance. This you need to list in your CVs. There is something that's very common in Nigeria, which is like associations inviting people and then giving them a plaque, not award per se. I don't know, for their contributions to the associations. I think these are not important. You don't need to fill in your CV with this information because you did not do anything to the association. Just maybe you are a member or you are graduating, and then the association gives these plaques to all the graduating class. So I think this is not very important. And in the end, for someone who is just graduating, I don't think publications are something important, but maybe after your master's, when you want to apply for a PhD, you need to list your publications, probably if you have some. But in some cases, I think people do publish their thesis in collaboration with their supervisor or whatever. Yeah, I think it happened to me also before I enrolled for my master's. My undergraduate thesis was already published, and it's already a very good sign that you can work on a project and then complete that project successfully and publish it. So, but you should keep this to the role you want to play in the master's program or the project you want to join. You don't want to list a publication that maybe you
Sorry for
wrote
the
a very,
interruption, sir. Doctor, sir,
yeah.
please. You have less than 10 minutes to round up the session, sir.
Yeah, I think I have just 3 more slides to finish, so I
Alright.
will be in time. Yeah. So you don't want to put, for instance, a book you wrote about theology when you are applying for molecular biology. I think that doesn't fit very well. So you need to also always go back to our earlier points. Um, think about how you can customize, how you can link, you relate your skills with the skills required for a particular master's program or a PhD or a research assistant position. And also, there is the section on professional affiliations. So the problem is most of the associations people are members of in Nigeria are not really professional bodies, to be honest. And then also you need to always remember this at the back of your mind, that if you are a member of, for instance, let's say MSS, then it has nothing to do with a research position you want to apply with. So just forget about that. Don't put it. But if you have like because they are these student members already, it tells me that you have the ability to network, which is important in research. You have to be able to network with people and forge collaborations. So this is important, but don't use the irrelevant associations or societies that have no link with what you want to apply for. So the final tips for writing an academic CV is, first, you try to regularly update your CV. A CV is dynamic, it's not static. You should always mind the guidelines if they are stated for any academic position or program you want to apply for. Make sure that you adhere to font, page numbers, font sizes. I think academics are very, very fond of saying that you need a CV of 2 pages using Times New Roman, font size 11 or 12. So just try to adhere to those things. They are very important. They can be the basis on which your CV will be kicked out. You may not know. So please, if it said 1 page, strictly try to adhere to that 1 page. Don't go beyond it. And then your best bet is to go online. Use online resources. As I said earlier, whatever I'm going to tell you today or the other speaker, you can find this information online. You can find this information if you dig deeper. There are a lot of videos on how to write thesis. There are a lot of articles. Even universities now have web pages where they explain in details how they want CV to be. So depending on where you are going to, try to look around and learn as much as possible. It's more important to me, as I said earlier, to spend a lot of time trying to understand how you want to write CV than the hours you spend in writing the CV. It can take you days, months, whatever, but just try and know as much as possible to have as much information about the CV, about the format, about the job you want to apply for, about everything before you sit down to write the CV. And then after writing the CV, always ask for a feedback. It's very important. You should go to a colleague, your lecturer, whoever is close to you. You ask him to have a look about your CV. What do they look? If there is no, especially if this is open, there is no specification on how to write the CV. You need to have someone to have a second look and give you his opinion. Is everything really very clear? Did you put all the sections that are necessary? You should always do that. And the don't is try to avoid using jargons, the Nigerian jargons. People outside Nigeria have no idea what NYC is. So they say that you did NYC in this. No. They don't know what an IT is. They don't know what sideways is, not PP is. So you need to be really very clear on what you write and project it in such a way that people will understand. In my own case, honestly, I always use the job I did during the NYC, like a 1 year job experience, instead of just saying I did NYC in so place. So for the IT also, I convert this to internships. They are actually internships, sideways, TP. These are all internships, and this is what the international people understand. So it's also important to note that please don't pad your CV. Don't put things that are not true. I see a lot of people writing things that are clearly not true. And when you confront them, because later the idea is if you send your CV, you may appear for an interview and people will confront you. You said you did this. I had a friend from Kenya who actually wrote that he acquired some skills in this prestigious institution in Kenya. I think the Livestock International Livestock Research Institute, and the professor that was interviewing happened to know a lot of people working there. And then he started asking, "Where is Professor so? Do you know Professor?" And he was completely blank. So it's not worth it. Don't overdo your CV. Sometimes it's an irony. If you write too much, people may think that you are overqualified for the job. Just recently, I think in a few months, we advertised for a PhD and a postdoc position in my lab, and some of the people that applied from Nigeria actually outrightly, my professor told me that he feels they are overqualified for the position, and I know they are not. So please don't overdo things. So this is the end of the presentation, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure all scholars have jotted down their questions, as there are a lot of questions they want to ask regarding your presentation, sir. So we'll be moving on to the question and answer session, which will be moderated by the publicity secretary, Scholar Abil Muhammad Tayyab.
Okay, thank you once again. Good evening, everyone. And I'm sure the scholars have already jotted down their question. So I will be handling the question and answer session, and I would like to explain how this session will work. If you have question and you wish to ask your question verbally, then you may use the raise hand feature. So I will give you opportunity to ask your question, and you can also drop your question in the chat box. So we'll address them as they are received. So I can see the first person that raised his hand, Musa. You can mute unmute your mic and go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Seriously, I really appreciate our scholar, our speaker for today's. They really try, and I've really gained a lot of things from them. My question is, I'm trying to draft a CV, and I now come to realize that there is a way whereby we can use online platform to draft our CV, but I'm encountering some problem, whereby if you want to make your CV look more professional, they there is a a way whereby they will ask you to pay for some step. Like if you had your certification now, they will say this program is paid for. So I don't know if there is even more better platform where it is totally free, because I'm using ChatGPT and Canvas to make my CV. So I don't know if our speaker they can guide us on this particular problem. So that is my question.
Thank you, Scholar Musa. I would like to call on Scholar Rose to please address this question if she's available.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, so yes, so there are actually platforms where you can, write your CV, but is it entirely free? I don't think so, because so I think the only free platform you can use, I think, is that of Microsoft, where, like I mentioned earlier, you just go there, search for CV temp. If you're using 360, and I think that one is also a paid platform as well. But if you have the free version, I think you can actually like download the you can download the you can make use of the templates. So I think someone is speaking. You can, yeah, download the template. So what I would advise is put in your details and get like a feel of your CV, and then maybe take a picture and then use that to now draft it using MS Word. But I don't know if Dr. Yahaya has, something different. But for me, I know that they are usually like paid platforms. Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, someone said something on the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Let's
I don't know if Scholar Yahya will add, Dr. Yahya, I mean, sorry, will add something.
I think I don't particularly know the online tools that automatically create CV. Honestly, I don't support that. Um, as I said earlier, I would prefer someone customizing their own CV, because these platforms always give you the same thing. So if you send your CV for recruitment, it's a bit funny, especially with ChatGPT, where people use to create research statement, motivation statement. It's the same English, right? So you can easily pick up that this is exactly coming from the same from online platform. So you honestly, what I would recommend is try to use those online platforms for learning purposes. So, and then try to customize and make your own CV. But if you have, I think the paid versions usually are better. So maybe you may be able to have options to customize, then this you can use. But I have no idea about the free versions of these tools.
Okay,
okay.
thank you so much, Doctor. All right, okay.
Just to add, right? So these CV platforms, they don't write your CVs. They just, provide you with a template. All you just need to do is just to impute the information that you already have, and then it helps you like maybe put it in a very like different sections. That's what it does. It just doesn't write your CV for you. It just puts it in that layout and all of that for you. Like Dr. Yahaya also mentioned, um yeah, please, and in as much as we want to use chat GPT and all of that, it's easy for for recruiters or talent sources to actually like pick out some of these things. And as he mentioned in his presentation, when you're being called for interviews and you don't know how to defend that, then it becomes a problem. So yeah, that's just it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope your question is now clear. So the next scholar is
Please, Public Secretary, I have an additional backup to the contributions from the. I hope you can hear me, right? with from the contribution with Dr. Yahya and Scholar Rose, Madam Rose. You see, let me tell you something. Number one, I consider your question. I think maybe because you are still new to this, maybe you are a newbie or something like that. But let me say that your what you actually described in your question, I will tag it as academic laziness, and what you will come out with from those type of platform would be a generic CV. Do you get it? If you want a CV that will stand out of the crowd, do you get it? You must craft it by yourself, and that is why the topic of this webinar is how to craft, a CV, not how to go and download a CV from somewhere that is, and you come up with, I don't know, maybe, don't let me describe it because it is indescribable. But I just want you to know that you have to do the work by yourself. Don't, if you go to Google to go and check and all of that, check, for learning purpose. But if you want to craft a CV or develop a CV, please, Scholar Musa Marufu, kindly ensure that you do the work by what? By yourself. And I also feel like using ChatGPT, it is very, very inappropriate as far as I'm concerned. And I think there is a particular topic that scholars would be exposed to, which actually deals with ethical use of artificial intelligence. You understand? You don't just because AI is structured in such a way that it is garbage in, garbage out. It is what you give it, that it would reproduce and give back to you. And I think during the last colloquium, Doctor what is his name? This doctor from that is the Director General of one artificial intelligence corporation in Sokoto, Dr. Nasib Dania actually said that there is nothing behind the artificial intelligence rather than the human intelligence. Do you get it? So artificial intelligence does not fall down from heaven. It is the brain of some people that were put into work. So for your own CV, you can't know yourself better than any other person, than even the recruiter, than yourself, or than any other AI. Or ChatGPT do not know you. You have been in existence before ChatGPT, right? So please kindly ensure that you craft your CV by yourself from the ground up using Microsoft Word, MS Word. And I can assure you that there would be a lot of samples that I have already shared multiple times, but I think scholars are lazy, sometimes to click on those links and to see samples. But then again, I think that I would share what do you call it samples of these CVs, on the general group so that you can download some of them. I say you should download. I did not say you should go and copy and paste any other person's CV. Draft your own CV by yourself, and it should reflect your own personality. I thank you for your time and for your insightful question.
Thank you so much, sir, for your clarification. So next scholar is I think Abdul Kadir Shaharafuddin. If you're available, you can go ahead to ask. Abu Kabir, sorry. Please
Um,
continue.
Thank you very much. It's Abubakar, sir. Abubakar Sharafaddin. So actually, it's not a question, please, but I want to urge you, sir, or I want to urge the speaker, sir, if they can send us the slides for proper review, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, can you allow me to address that?
All right,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, okay, scholars, this is not the first time we'll be organizing webinars, and this is not the second time. So it is important to know that for every webinar we have organized, we have shared the slides into our WhatsApp platform. And I don't know, maybe scholars have not been checking the general platform. You only attend webinar sessions and you did not bother to check if the slides will be presented to you. However, prior to the commencement of the presentation, we have been assured that the presentation slides will be sent to you all. So please, let's refrain from asking such questions again. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Hope That is noted. So next, Abdul Rahim Abdul Samad. Please kindly unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. I equally appreciate our speaker today. I'm waiting from Mrs. Ruth and Dr. Yahya. We thank them for this wonderful section. And actually, I don't know whether I actually missed the part because of my network problem. So I wanted to ask from the section from Mrs. Ruth and Dr. Yahya, I can infer that academic CV are actually quite different from professional CV. So I wanted to employ them to actually portray and try to explain more to us what is the main difference between them, and again whether academic CV, this professional CV and resume can be used interchangeably for any application. Thank you.
Okay, I think your question was to Dr. Yahaya. So, sir, please kindly address the question.
I think this is what I tried to do. Maybe I did not do a very good job, but the main message I was trying to pass is that the academic CV is quite different, and there are key components that I listed that are the most important components of an academic CV. There are things that you find in professional CV that is quite actually not important. Things like hobbies, activities, and other personal information. These are not really important in an academic CV. What matters in an academic CV is your educational background and what you acquired through that education. So other skills you acquired during your education, such as internship, and what impact did you make. So I think these are the most important things. While I think if you're looking at the professional CV, it's mostly about a particular job you want to do, and whether you have the experience or skills to do that particular job. So these are some of the differences, I think. And regarding CV and resume, I try to explain this. This is mostly a matter of English, but the most important thing is try to see where you are sending your CV, what name do they use, how do they want it, and this should guide you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for addressing this. So I think we have a question dropped in the chat box. Let me quickly read it. The question says, how can one add the project publication on the CV if the undergraduate project is a group work? And also, how can one know the requirement of the international school writing CV? So the person is asking two questions. I think
Yeah, so this I said earlier, in if you're applying for a master's program, for instance, you normally go to the page of that university, and then you have all the information you have regarding that master's program. So there is also usually an international office which has also a page in the university website where they describe uh, if they need a particular format, and if you do not see any description, then you can freely submit whatever format you have. So this is not a big issue. I think if they really need a particular format, then they will say it, and if you don't see anything, then that's not a problem actually.
thank you, sir. And the first question he said, how can someone add a
Yeah,
project
okay, yes,
publication?
yes. This is a very good question. I So what I would suggest, I actually don't have this experience of uh, doing a project with other students. We normally do in the veterinary school per person. I don't know now, maybe people, because there are too many people also, they are doing group projects. But what you can do is you can write the whole project, summarize what you did in general, and then you can add a small section of on your own contribution. So this will make it stand out. So in this group, what did you do? Did you do the data analysis, for instance? Did you design the questionnaire? Did you go to the field to collect data? So this is really important. You should do that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yahaya Yabo, for your kind response. Let me, in addendum to that response, is also that if you do a group work, I think the best thing and the best route to go, and that I know and that has worked in recent time, is that you discuss with your supervisor first. Sir, or ma, I am willing to publish this project in a journal. That being said, your supervisor will tell you that you should seek the permission, of other contributors, that your colleague, together from your department, that are students like you, should ask for their permission. I have not had one person, that will say that, because they are not even interested in the what do you call it, in the publication, because they don't know the value, they don't know what it means to have publication. So most likely they will say that, go and what do you call it, go and publish it now. So once you have that permission, that you should go and publish it, then you liaise with your supervisor. I think most of the time you would also not know how to go about crafting out a publication from your project. Most of what is ideal is that you remove the chapter 3, which is the, no, not necessarily chapter 3, but maybe some things actually, like, you actually need to, it's not that you publish everything. Your supervisor will actually guide you and also make recommendations of where such topics that you have worked on, can be published in your field. I think this is the best. And I think you don't usually have that type of scenario, because I know that the person asking the question is from social science. You don't have that type of scenario, most likely in political science. I think the people that usually have this is the people in education. So if you are in education and your work is grouped due to large number, you understand, this is the approach. And if that is also the same thing in your own department as well, the same thing applies. Thank you.
And thank you so much, sir, for your kind response too. Uh, there is also another question dropped in the chat box. The question says, what are the postgraduate pathways after studying medicine and surgery and veterinary medicine? I think the question goes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but please secretary, sir. The question and answer session ends in 5 minutes. Kindly take notes.
Okay. So any scholar willing to ask questions should please make the question concise, and maybe we'll be attempting another 2 questions and one. So, Dr. Yahaya, please kindly address the next questions.
Yeah, so I think, to be honest, we need maybe another session to talk about this pathways after medical or veterinary school. There are really a lot of things someone can do. It depends on your interest, and because of the huge foundation you have in terms of the different courses you took, you can take any of the preclinical or clinical courses and develop a career out of that. So I think the opportunities are endless. You can go into research. You can research any of the diseases, and there are like thousands of diseases. And then you can also go into even companies like pharmaceutical companies, and you do research and development, and you can do also the clinical pathway where you become a consultant or a specialist. So there are so many things, honestly.
Thank you so much, sir. Hope this is also addressed. The last but not the least question from Muhammad. Kindly unmute your mic. Scholar Muhammad, please kindly unmute your mic and speak.
Yes, sir. It has been answered.
Okay. Okay. Maybe he mistakenly clicked on his hand picture. So there is also one question from the chat box. He said, "How
No,
about?"
I think we should allow Farouk to ask this question, and please go ahead, unmute your mic and ask your question. Allow it.
Thank you very much, sir. This is Abdulrashid Akiri. My phone went off, so I'm using his phone. Uh, I asked the first question that we are doing group projects as undergraduates. If we want to add our thesis to our CV, how can we do that? And also, if we want to use reference, I don't think doctor made mention of that. So reference, how can we add our reference, and who can we select as reference while drafting our CV?
Reference, you mean in terms of referees, right? Who will be your referees? Like who can
Yes,
write
sir.
recommendation letter on your behalf, right? All right. Dr. Yahya Yabo.
Yeah, I think I answered the first question. So what I think is, if you just want to report your thesis, still give an abstract summary of what you did. And because obviously it's a group work, then you need to also specify what role you played in the group. What did you do particularly? And then on the referees, normally these are not very important in academic CV. In academic CVs, mostly you will see people saying that you send your CV and referees separately if they want the referees. So they are often like two separate things in the academic world. You have your CV separately, and then you have a list of your referees, one or two. But in some places, you can actually join everything together, especially when it is not mentioned otherwise. So if they just ask you to send your CV, you have the liberty to either send without referees or add the referees. If they really need the referees, then they will tell you the CV and the referees. This is my experience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, the two facilitators, for your kind and factful answers. And this comes to the end of the question and answer session. So back to you, the moderator. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scholar Abim Ahmad Dayab. And we have come to the end of webinar 3.4, and we'll be taking the closing remark from the convener, Scholar Ajibike Abdubasit Abiodun. Kindly unmute yourself and give us the closing remark.
Permit me to say thank you before. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. And first of all, I would like to appreciate the presence and also the presentation made by our facilitators and the person of Scholar Rose Amuzie, who joined us despite a busy schedule, as well as Dr. Yahaya Yabo, who also joined us despite his own busy schedule, as well as the difference in time. Uh, Today's webinar is about the art and craft of the art of crafting a compelling CV, and I believe, all scholars now can now differentiate between an academic CV and a work CV. A work CV is what we use for the professional line, while an academic CV actually entails, things about regarding your academics, which you can use to apply for graduate schools, scholarships, and the likes. So, scholars, I believe everyone here has either gained one or two things, because I personally, I learned a lot from today's session.
Please,
So I would
okay,
appreciate.
thank you very much, convener, for that. But before you round up, I think that I got an important update from Madam Rose Amuzie, and this is a big what do you call it? A big applause to all attendees here today. So this is what we will do. I will just put it as it comes now. She has volunteered as a recruiter with one of the biggest firm in the country, to review the CV of 5 students that attended this session. So the modality of doing that would be put out, and I think that we should thank him. Rather, we should thank her for her time and for this sacrifice. It is not easy for a recruiter to say that they want to review your CV. People that perish CV or bury CV, in their rights, are now saying that you should bring it forward. So this is a great one that all of you should be all of you should be thankful for. I think let me also add that please she share a lot of important what do you call it, job opportunities updates on her LinkedIn. So go and follow her on LinkedIn. You understand? So the process of doing that will be very, very transparent. I think that the convener is going to put the tone to when you can send it and the time frame and all of that, so that everybody, the transparency process is still being kept, in place. And that would we will communicate those 5 people to her, and also revert back to her. Thank you so much. Very, very, very grateful. Dear scholar Rose Amuzie. Yeah, thank you so much for for your effort and for your time and for your sacrifice. This is a big plus. By the time she reviewed your CV, I doubt there's any job you will apply for in this country called Nigeria that you will not at least get, to the aptitude test what do you call it phase. So it is now left for you to go and slug it out with the tests with the other Dragnet or anybody that the organization has put in place. Yes, I think this is a big plus. So the convener, please, you can go ahead with your closing.
Okay, once again, special appreciation goes to Scholar Rose Amuzie for that opportunity. Despite a lot of work she has at hand, she still volunteered to review CVs of scholars, and that's quite encouraging for scholars. Then there's also one more thing to add. We would need your review. So scholars, we would want you to drop your review in the chat box about the webinar. Just drop it in the chat box. So we can use it to improve during the next webinar session. And the presentation slides will be sent on general platform today or tomorrow. And the recordings of the session will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So, and the link will be sent to the general platform so everyone can have access to it. Thank you all for joining once again, and have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Right. Cheers, everyone. Cheers.
Fired up now. Let's fired up.
Okay, fired up now. Fired up. Fired
Ready
up.
to go. Ready to
Ready,
go.
ready
Fired
to
up.
go. Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Now you can